Alright, so I'm here with my binder full of 100 animals. I did these over the course of 2 weeks. I'm just going to take through page by page and let's go. So this is the first page I did. Just working on mammals here. I'm working out the construction here. I'm trying to combine a sense of gesture and construction. And I liked doing little colors on them just to make them stand out more, like a green bear, blue polar bear, and that's just for fun. Next, I was working with pencil, and I was working on the heads. So there's my polar bear head. I wish I could get a better quality with the camera. I don't think it's designed for stuff to be this close, but hopefully you can still see what's going on. These are all on my Instagram, @PeterJacksonAnton, if you want to check them out. I've posted most of them. Polar bears. I did the heads. The heads were looking good, and then I did the body, and I wasn't feeling that because it's too much structure, not enough gesture. This one, another polar bear. Still working on getting it to feel like a united whole rather than just a piecemeal. And then this one was beginning to get a little bit better with the proportions and it feeling like a solidly constructed form and things really fitting together properly. These are getting better. I especially like this one. It has a really good feel to it, really good turn and twist. The standing up one looks a little bit stiff, but I mean that's kind of an awkward pose to begin with. I like how solid the hands are. That's cool how I have the corners on them. And then for these, I've got polar bears, and then I just felt like changing it up, so I went with a warthog. That's not an ugly polar bear, that's actually a warthog. Yeah, I'm working on getting the dimension of these things. This is a really tricky one just because there's so many organic forms and getting those to line up with like perspective and those ellipses as they go across the form. I like these polar bears, they're really fun expressions. These were seals. I just felt like changing it up again, so I went with seals. A lot of room to improve on these. I have never studied seal anatomy or skulls, and they're just kind of awkward creatures, so if I were going to redo the seals, I would definitely do some more study of the anatomy to figure out what's going on with the flippers. I believe they're just hands, but weird. So, yeah, I'd really like to do a... once I get the basic animals down, I'd really like to do a phase where I just do dolphins and manatees and seals and sea leopards, all these aquatic mammals, to see how that anatomy works. I think that could be a really interesting series and a lot of fun if I ever, especially when I get into like painting water. Here I was working a little bit more with the textures, see the whiskers on the walrus and the really wish I had a better camera, but working on the textures of the fur here, working on the horns of the goat, trying to communicate that texture. I really like the cross contours on the goat horns, how those lines help show how the form is undulating a little bit and isn't just a flat curve, or a flat surface, I should say. Then I got a deer in the corner. For these, I redid this goat on the next page. I'll go ahead and show you that now. So a couple things. I redid this deer because I didn't like how long that leg was. It got too far, but the gesture of it is good. It's just the proportions are off. The goat is cool. This one's cool. This one, the proportions are off, and the neck is too long. So then where do I redo that one? Right, I redo that one here. I think the deer is the same deer too, but see, I redid that goat so the proportions are better. But let me go back to the page I skipped. So, yeah, so I liked this page. This one, these are just working on fawns, and then this is the skeleton of a goat. So just working on the anatomy a bit there. And I like to redo stuff when I'm having trouble with it, so I can figure out what's going on. In this page, whoops, wait, let me get this, yeah, okay. Sorry, my camera setup's just like everything's upside down and it's also mirrored, so it's hard to situate things and figure out what I'm pointing at. Okay, so this goat I was trying to loosen up with my pin work, and I like that subtle tilt of the head. I didn't just correct it and make it straight on, where it's like straight up and down. I kept that curve, that slant in there, that tilt, and I like that I'm indicating the textures in the fur. This goat, I like that I corrected the proportions from the one I got wrong, and I think same thing. I think this is the same deer, and I was oh, now I'm getting a shadow from this book. Might have to go like that. Yeah, just lift it up a bit, and there's that deer. And then I redid the deer. Is this the same pose? Hold on. This might be the same pose. I'm not sure. No, it's a different pose. Okay. Yeah, this is a different pose. Just excuse the cast shadow. I can't change it without redoing my entire camera setup. But you can see I'm working on the construction here and figuring out how this thing is put together and how the joints work and the different parts, how they're fitting into each other. And what I like about that is that it gives you a lot more freedom than just understanding the anatomy. If you understand things as simple forms, then you can turn them in space because you understand them as like a cube or a tombstone shape. Well, then you know how to twist that in space. Then you can twist the entire animal in space. That's the theory, anyway. Here's a page I did while I was waiting at the car place. So I was waiting for my car to get serviced, and I knocked out another page of sketches. So the lesson there is just always carry a sketchbook with you, because if you just read some crappy magazine like People magazine or watch the TV, you're wasting time that you could be spending drawing. So take advantage of those little moments. You can bang out a few drawings and learn some lessons. What I did was I brought my animal encyclopedia and then I just drew from it. I really like drawing small because it allows you to capture the silhouette and just get the overall feel of the animal without getting caught up in the details of it. Let's turn this page. Here's some armadillos. Look at how it rolls up into a ball. It's really cool because they're these triangular shaped. The triangular shaped head and the triangular shaped tail kind of socket into each other, like they interlock when it curls up, which is just a really cool design. This is a giant armadillo. So here I'm getting a little bit more into the rendering and the textures, just because normally I don't pay attention to that. Again, these are all on my Instagram at Peter Jackson Anton. I really want to show you all these textures, but this camera is not built for built for what I'm trying to do with it. So please go check them out if you like these. Most of them are up there, especially the ones I really like. Here's an interesting page because I don't ever draw any of these animals. These are just completely unusual animals to me, totally foreign. So I'm just getting some practice drawing stuff I've never seen before that I don't know very well. I mean, the anatomy, the overall anatomy stays pretty much the same, but capturing the unique qualities of like the stretched out nose of the anteater, or what did I call it? The Tamandua, something like that. Southern Tamandua. So all these animals that are unfamiliar, just working on those. More stuff I'm not very familiar with. I don't really ever draw rodents, so this was just some good practice for that. Just figuring out how the bodies work. This one's kind of shaped like a stretched out lemon, maybe would be the best way to describe it. It's like a lemon that's really stretched out, or like a small banana like a plantain, and how you have the base of the tail is a little bit wider and then it narrows out. Getting the curvature of the spine on this one was really interesting. I love the ears on this one, going from a cylinder and then opening up, and then that long tail with the little tuft at the end. It's very cool. Nature's a really cool designer, so you don't even really have to design that much when you're a creature designer. There's a lot of cool stuff that already exists in nature, so just study from nature and you barely have to design a thing. You just find what's already been designed and just combine it with other interesting designs to make something really cool. Here I'm just working out. What I was doing with this was I was looking at the page and I was thinking what poses would challenge me. Like this one was hard because you have this really weird smushed. It's not round. It's like very smushed. It's like if I took a normal creature and just like took a block and just shoved it and smashed it and like condensed it. But this is what it looked like, and it's just very strange. And I was like, I need to learn how to do that. It's challenging to me, so I'm gonna try it. And this was another challenging pose. This is actually a rat swimming in the water. Well, it might not be a rat, but it looks like a rat, and it's swimming in the water. Which so it's got its little fingers spread in the back feet too. So it's kind of like floating in the water, and its tail is coming up out of the water. So it's entering the water, and it's starting to swim, which was such a crazy pose. But I think I captured the feel of it really well. And this one, this was so crazy because it's kind of like a kangaroo with that really thick tail. All right, it's kind of like a rabbit or a kangaroo with those legs, and I mean, it looks like it was made to jump. It almost looks like it looks like a combination of a kangaroo and a rabbit. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's such a cool tail. This is a ferret. I think I did a really good job with the gesture and capturing that feeling of it leaping up or stretching upwards to find something. It looks like he's sniffing something in the air, and here's another ferret or a weasel or something like that. I think I did a really good job with those guys. Here's some cats. All different sorts of cats. Just working my way through them. I really like these ones down here. I think those are some really nice colored pencil sketches that look really beautiful to me. Same with this one. You'll see sometimes I do more just color for clarity, like the orange would be the cat, the blue is what it's holding. Sometimes I'll just do it to set it apart from the background, but on a few of these I end up going more naturalistic with the colors and actually trying to do it as they are in nature. This one's just for setting it apart from the background. This one's actually trying to capture the colors as they are as much as I can with the limited range of my colored pencils. And same here, these are more naturalistic colors. The expression on this one was crazy, so I did that twice. Once in black and white and once in color. The patterning on this guy was really cool. I don't remember what that was, but it was really cool. I'd have to look it up. And this one's just in black and white, nice and simple. I really like that. This downward tilt of the head, I'm glad I captured that well. I think the position of the far ear might be off. It might be too far back. Could bring that forward a bit, I believe. Just doesn't look like it's lined up properly. But capturing the downward tilt, I think I did a really good job. And then just a nice sketchy line here. Camels. Camels and a giraffe. On this page, I was just going for a really loose feel. See how loose the not brush strokes, the mark making is here, and just kind of building it up into these tones. More of a soft, I don't know, almost maybe not a painter, maybe a painterly approach. That might be the way to think of it. Just building brush strokes on top of each other, gradually building up those values. Definitely a much more value-based type of drawing than a line-based kind of drawing. But I like the combination. Giraffe, the tail got a bit big, and so did the head on the giraffe, but still a really good feel to the body. Captured the feel of the pose really well. Construction looks good, just a little bit of trouble with the proportions on that and on this okapi, or okapi, I don't know how you say it. Again, the head I think is a little big, but maybe not as bad as the giraffe. Yeah, but maybe a little bit big. Or it might be the connection to the neck. That's a problem. But anyway, I did this rhino. That was really hard. So I did these two, and then I did this one. And this one was just to correct some of the issues with proportions because I kept making the rhino too short. They're actually pretty long, and I make a note of that here. And then they've got this hump on the back of their neck, which is to hold their heavy heads up. And then we've got this tapir. More tapirs, just things that are unfamiliar to me to challenge myself. And then some cattle, because I talked about this in another video, where my cattle were looking really bad, and I couldn't do them at all from imagination, so I decided I should go to the source and draw some from reference. And this is where I end up, this is the last page, is just finishing with a challenge. And then, yep. So that's pretty much it. Here's the last one, number 100. A nice challenging perspective for shortened cow. And let me go ahead and switch my camera up. Okay, so that is my 100 mammal challenge. The next thing I'm going to be doing is the 100 cat challenge. So I like to work on individual sheets of paper, and then I put it into a binder. That allows me, I don't have to have a special sketchbook for it. I just do it nice and free and loose, and I can do them as I please. I can work on a little clipboard with individual sheets of paper, do them wherever, and then I just combine them into a binder. And I really like that way of working rather than having to do like sketchbook, do a page. This way they're all organized and I have no pages that are just like empty or I had to rip stuff out because they weren't good. So I really like this approach to sketchbooking where I do the pages loose and then I bind them together. It's not as good if you're on the road. If you're traveling, I would just get a regular sketchbook. But if you're just doing it in your room, then just using copy paper, hole punching it, and then putting it in a binder is a great way to operate, I think. And you can also do that with your idea folders, like if you have a binder where you just put all of your ideas. So if you draw something cool and you're like, well, I don't really want to do it now, but maybe 5 years from now or a year from now I might want to do something with that, put it in your idea binder or folder and just keep those sketches and ideas. And you can look back at them and you'll be surprised at what you came up with that you forgot about. So anyway, I'm going to be moving on to the 100 cat challenge. I've already done the first 20 for that. And in this one, I'm going to be including in the drawings I do that I'm allowed to do so the first one might be a cat, but then I'm also allowed to do a study of paws, and that paw study would count towards the 100. So I'm getting more into the parts, right? I could do a nose study, I could do a study of eyes for the cats. So what we're doing with the cat challenge is specificity, and we're going to be going into what makes a cat look like a cat. What are the different types of cats? So I might do a 100 cat challenge, and then I might do after that I might do a tiger challenge, or I might do a house cat challenge, or I might just do a cat feature challenge where I only draw cat features. But this one I'm going a little bit narrower than mammal, and I'm saying anything that has to do with cats, I'm going to draw 100 of them. So that should be fun. I've really been having fun with it so far, and it's great because I get to be more specific. One thing I want to work on is maybe doing some bigger drawings. I've been doing some really tiny drawings. So with the cat challenge, maybe I start to get a little bit bigger. Anyway, that's the video for today. So as always, we're going to take a deep breath. And let's go draw